Hello and welcome to Diecast Restos. My name is Jason and this week it's a commission project. Jake got in touch looking for a colour swap on his model Renault Clio 2. He wanted his Odeon 1/43 scale model turned blue, just like his real car, a totally unexceptional but beautifully immaculate 1999 Clio. It's a rare but nobody cares spec Super Mini which has only just cracked 41,000 miles. That's 1,600 miles per year since new. Jake's taking the Clio, known as Winnie, to a host of car shows this year, including Shedfest this coming weekend and Festival of the Unexceptional later this summer. Also, answers on a postcard telling me how Winnie got its name. It might become clearer later in the video. So Jake reached out to me after visiting Robin from Viking Detail to give Winnie a proper spruce up. They both got chatting and my name came up, with Robin suggesting Jake gets in touch to get his model personalised. If you're watching, Robin, thanks again for the recommendation. Coincidentally, Jake lives fairly close by to me, so he promptly dropped off his one of 1,000 limited run models ready for its makeover. It's easy to get into the model initially, with two Phillips screws connecting the body to the base. But once I was inside, I was greeted with a sea of flattened rivets, holding in the windows in individual sections, the dashboard and the scuttle panel. Odeon are a French model maker that mainly specialise in French market vehicles. I don't think many manufacturers have recreated Clios, especially the second generation one like this. These models were first put on sale in April 2021, so they're relatively recent in respect of the age of the actual car. It's slow progress removing all of these rivets, so let's get started with the history of the Clio. After releasing the second iteration of the Clio's predecessor, the 5 or Le Car, Renault began working on an all-new replacement. It arrived in 1990, though production of the R5 would continue until 1996. The Clio was an instant hit. Launch models had 1.2 or 1.4 petrol options, or a 1.7 or 1.9 litre diesel. In the December of its launch, the Clio was named European Car of the Year for 1991, quickly becoming one of the continent's best-selling cars. Now let's paint strip this model. Or not paint strip, as it turns out. More of a paint massage. Let's hope my liquid paint stripper will do better. In the UK, the Clio featured in a series of Renault TV advertisements known as Papa and Nicole. These two characters were so prominent on British television screens that a 1996 survey found Nicole was recognised by more Britons than then Prime Minister John Major or even actor Bob Hoskins.
I don't find it offensive, I find it frightening.
From 1991, a sportier 8-valve 1.8 litre RSI model was added to the range, with an even fruitier 16-valve version called the 16S arriving later that year. But their pièce de résistance was the Clio Williams, named after the Williams Formula 1 team to whom Renault supplied engines in 1993. This naturally aspirated 2-litre 4-pot produced 145 horsepower and could hit 134 miles per hour. The steering and handling was uprated in the Pocket Rocket, which weighed just 930 kilos, a shade over 2,000 pounds. However, there is one interesting tidbit about the name. Williams had no association with the car or its development whatsoever. The modifications were designed by Renault Sport, and it had nothing to do with the Formula 1 team. Such was its popularity that the original homologation run of 2,500 units was extended to 3,800 cars. And then it was extended with the Clio Williams 2. And then again with the Williams 3. More than 12,000 were eventually built. The Clio was facelifted in 1994, referred to as Phase 2, and then again in 1996 with Phase 3, before the second generation arrived in 1998. This is the platform Jake's car is from, with its more bulbous appearance and contemporary design features. Safety was greatly improved and it provided a better driving experience than the Gen 1 Clio. Launch engines were 1.2, 1.4 and 1.6 litre petrol engines, but in 1999 the Clio Renault Sport 172 provided a performance boost to the lineup. This 2-litre 16-valve engine produced 172 horsepower as reflected in the name. These were excellent, sporty models, but it was nothing compared to what arrived in 2001, the Clio V6. I'll go into the insane mid-engined monster another day, as I know that Maisto produced a 1 in 60 version that I'm keen to get my hands on and customise. After the V6 went on sale, the base Clio received a facelift, again referred to as Phase 2. The exterior had significant restyling done to it, most strikingly to the headlights and grille. The interior improved too, with a new dashboard. The V6 received the same facelift in 2003. In 2004, the car underwent Phase 3 upgrades, with some minor modifications to the grille. It was following this surgery that the Clio RS model had its power increased to 182 horsepower. Yep, that was reflected in the name. Renault launched their 3rd generation Clio in 2005, but the 2nd gen still had life left in it yet. In 2006, Phase 4 saw a restyled rear, then a restyled front was designated Phase 5 in 2009. A Phase 6 was even offered in 2012, which was built in Argentina. This awkward looking creation was designed to be the cheapest Renault model in Latin America. It received an adult occupant safety rating of 0 stars in the Latin NCAP test in 2013. It was put out of its misery in 2016. I'm leaping back to 2005 now with the 3rd generation model. The new car was larger and heavier than its predecessor. It was co-developed with Nissan and is related to their Micra. It had been decided to move the Clio up market and offered keycard entry. It became the first model line to twice win the European Car of the Year award in 2006, adding to the 1991 trophy. Yet again, the French manufacturer offered their hatch in hot spec, the 2-litre 16-valve RS, which kicked out 194 horsepower. A rather strange looking estate was added to the lineup in 2007, which was just as long as its bigger sibling, the Megane estate, with the cargo space being larger than the Megane. The 3rd generation car was facelifted in 2009 before the 4th generation car went on sale in 2012. Before I chat about the 4th and 5th gen Clios, I just wanted to comment on the window stickers on Jake's car. I wanted to replicate these no matter how small, to really personalise it for him. They may be barely legible, but they help to really identify the model as his car. The estate version returned for the 4th generation Clio, while all versions would have 5 doors with hidden rear door handles. The new RS had a 1.6 litre Nissan inline 4 that developed 200 horsepower. Phase 2 of the 4th generation arrived in 2016, with the 5th and current generation Clio not looking all that dissimilar. An RS Clio did not cross over onto the new car, and with it also went the estate as the range was rationalised. It received a facelift in 2023, but with a new selection of electric Renaults, including the 4, 5 and Twingo, either out now or on the horizon, will the next Clio slated for a 2026 launch be the last? Only time will tell. Right now though, I'm starting to reassemble Winnie. I've already affixed the headlamps, scuttle, aerial and windscreen, and now it's the side mirrors. Everything pushes into place, though it does take a bit of force for some of them to stick. Now I pop in the tail light clusters, which look great against that silver backing I painted in. Then it's the difficult task of clipping each of the cabin window sections in over the ground down rooftop rivets. I add in some finishing touches which I may or may not have forgotten to do earlier. Then I add in the dash. Finally, the base and interior I've barely had to touch match up to the body, and the 2 Phillips screws are reused to hold it all together. Here's how Jake's Clio model in the wrong colour looked to begin with. These are really nice detailed castings, but as they're only available in this red, Jake reached out asking if I'd be willing to turn it blue like his car Winnie. It's not a 100% reflection of his car. The wheels, for instance, while genuine Renault replicas, are a bit more flash than his Clio's hubcaps. It's been a good model to work on, with the toughest moments removing all of those rivets securing various parts. As requested by Jake, it's now looking more like his car in a shade of blue that's a relatively close match. I've returned much of the detail the factory model had, but I have given it its number plates, which should give you some indication as to how the car got its name. I've then really personalised it by adding in Jake's collection of window stickers to each rear door. Jake was really pleased with it when he picked it up from me, and he was especially happy because his Clio had just been accepted into the Festival of the Unexceptional Concours this coming July. You'll be able to see this model, the real car and me at Shedfest this weekend, so if you're going, do come and say hi. And if you'd like your car recreated in scale diecast, drop me a line. DM me on Instagram or my email address is in the video description. But that's all from me for now. All that leaves me to say is thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.